The Illinois Treasurer's Office Award for Outstanding Achievement in Arts and Humanities goes to Roger J. Carter. The Bronzeville-based 48-year-old has had his figurative paintings shown in local galleries and national museums. Most recently, the Museum of Science and Industry, an exclusive floor at the Art of Banksy, Chicago, and he's headed to All-Star Weekend in Cleveland soon. Roger is the co-founder of the recently opened gallery and studio, the Culture Museum in Pilsen, and he is the lead artist in the Agape Creative Boutique. After losing his job as a computer programmer and inspired by the George Floyd protests, Roger decided in 2020 to commit to a new style he'd contemplated for many years. Envisioning a three-dimensional painting, he began his series Toy Figures, in which he renders an influential Black individual like James Baldwin or Nina Simone in acrylic on canvas, then affixes to it action figures he spray painted. The result is a highly textured, distinctly portrait that pops in photos and multidimensional in person. So in the past year, he's had success selling to many celebrities and collectors with a current wait list, and his current art has increased 5 times the purchase price for some early collectors. So Roger, congratulations, and thanks for joining me today.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So let's start off. What inspired you to a career in the arts? What inspired you to take this route?
Well, my inspiration is I've always really been into art and always loved art. So I've always created as a kid. You know, maybe I can't say it, but I kind of used to do a little graffiti as a child in the city of Chicago. So I was really inspired by graffiti art and street art. And it's always been an outlet for me to kind of like get my voice out there, to kind of protest, if you will, because I don't consider myself a great public speaker or anything like that to deliver my message. So I try to deliver my message via the arts. So that's, you know, people always hear me say, hey, my art is my protest. And this is the true way of how I feel. And that's how I kind of get that frustration out. Or if I want to get a message out, I always do it via the arts.
Yeah. You know, my living experience in the arts is you have people who sometimes just need some time off to recharge their batteries, and when they throw themselves into something, they throw themselves in completely. So I'm imagining some long hours. How do you balance your work in the arts with the rest of your life?
You know what? As an artist, as being a software engineer, you know, my life hasn't really changed a lot. I mean, I have 3 kids, and they will tell you they've been drugged to the studio on many occasions, and they actually love it. You know, my daughter's an aspiring artist. My son is in college to be a software engineer, and I have a 4-year-old who loves the arts and loves running around the studio. So my life hasn't really changed that much. I've still been able to get things done, and I've kind of, without really knowing, I just actually thought about it, that they're kind of brought into my life, and they're doing things that I've always done naturally, and it's something that I never really forced upon them. So it's kind of interesting, especially my son. He's also like I say, he goes to Penn State for software engineering. He's also a classical pianist, so he has kind of both of the art and the technical background. My daughter's an outstanding painter, and she's studying graphic arts at UIC here, right down the street here from my studio. So it's a pretty interesting balance. I never really thought about it. It's a good question.
Well, so you've done well. Now, coronavirus, the pandemic, threw a lot of people for a loop. I think it probably changed some of your work balance. What challenges and struggles have you faced during the pandemic?
You know, again, my life really hadn't changed. You know, when the pandemic first happened and people were forced to stay home, I was like, oh, wow, this is great. Now I can really work on some of this work I need to work on. I get a lot of stuff done. And I was laid off from my job, and I was like, wow, now I can really do the art that I always envisioned and what I wanted to do. And that's kind of how the toy soldier evolution happened. Is I said, okay, I want to do something like this. I never really had the time to do it because I was always like doing commission work, even with the paintings and selling work out of some of the local galleries. I never just couldn't sit down to do it. And then I actually had a chance to do it, develop a process. The process enabled me to create the work a lot quicker than in the past. And that's kind of So it's actually helped me. I know a lot of people don't like to stay home. It actually helped me with my artistic journey. But now, I'm like everybody else. I want to come outside, man. So, we get to show people what we've been doing.
Well, it sounds like you've got a great attitude towards when life throws you curveballs, you make the most of it. You make this sound easy, but I know life is not always so easy.
No.
So if there are young people watching here today who want to pursue a career in the arts, I know there's not one path, but what advice would you give them?
Oh, that's easy. I would say put your heart and soul into it. Not just art, but whatever it is you want to do, put your heart and soul into it. Don't be afraid to get a little bit vulnerable in your work. And long as it's your honest self, it's going to be good. It's not about money. It's not about popularity. It's about doing what it is that you want to do, what makes you happy. It's like, hey, a lot of people don't like their job, and I say, well, find something that you want to do. If you find something that you truly love, you'll never work a day in your life. And that takes trial and error. You may want to be an artist. You may discover that you can't really draw as well. You can't paint as well. I don't mean you quit. You just keep going because it's still your art in your hand is still unique, right? No one else can do what you can do or express the way you can do. Now, whether people buy it or like it or not, that's up to them. But this is your true self, your true way to express yourself. And that's with anything. I believe if you want to be an attorney, if you want to be a politician, you just dive right in. I remember reading a book, Miles Davis' Autobiography. I think he said he was 13 years old, and he said at that time he decided he was going all the way with music. He didn't care. He was going all the way at that age, and that's kind of how I feel with my art. That I made a decision to just go all the way, and not hold anything back, not create anything that's popular. Just create the things and put my message out there. So I love it. That's my advice I would give to. I don't know if that answered your question or if that was so personal.
I think that answered my question of advice to young artists. It's advice to anyone.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you that I think people crave genuineness. You can't look at someone else's art and try and copy it.
Right.
That are successful, but if you're trying to copy it, it's not sincere. It's not you. I don't think it's that valuable, and I think that's advice for anyone. And no one's going to accomplish anything in life without some hard work and willing to take some risks.
Yeah, you got to pay your dues.
Roger, something that's always sort of been hard for me to understand is, I create speeches all the time and I give them away for free. I want them out there. What's it like as an artist to put yourself into a work of art and then to have to sell that? Is it difficult, or is it a sense of great joy?
Oh, it's extremely difficult if you're doing it by yourself. I am not a salesperson at all. I am a creator. I like to create, and my manager does all the sales. She does a lot of the talking for me. This is a rare instance where she's not speaking for me, but I can speak for myself. But it is a difficult process. The business side of it is you need a team. And once you understand that you need a team, you assemble a team, and I kind of like to assemble a team with people who who's genuine like I am, who really cares about the product and really understands what I'm doing, and I just won't surround myself with people who's not on the same page. And if they got to like what they're doing, there's certain roles here. I say, hey, do you like doing that? They say, no. I say, okay, we're going to find something else for you to do because I like you. I like you as a person. So if I like people as a person, we're going to get along well in business. That's just the way it goes. It's not necessarily a skill set. The skill set is, are you a decent person? And I can work with you that way. So yeah, I like to create. In a perfect world, I would just create all day, and I would let the manager sell the work, anyone else, and just let them have. To be honest with you, if you ask me how much the stuff is going, I really don't know. I have an idea, but I really don't, because the prices change due to the demand, and that's okay, because I still get to work, still get to put my message out there, and that's kind of the life that I want.
Roger, I smile because I had an experience where I went from an editorial board once, and they asked me, how much does the Illinois State Treasurer make? And my response was, I don't know. They laughed and said, shouldn't the state treasurer know how much money the state treasurer makes? And I said, yeah, if I were motivated by money, I'm sure I would look at that. I'm motivated by the opportunity here. And, I know I get paid. I know I get paid enough. I don't have problems, but I don't focus on the compensation. I focus on the work.
Yeah, I mean, if you focus on the compensation, you'll constantly change careers.
Yeah.
That's what people do instead of doing it what they truly love. Like I say, if you find something that you truly love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I'm happy that I finally got to that point. So I'm enjoying it. I'm surprised everyone else. Well, not really. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised everyone else is taking notice as well. But I guess if you're true to yourself and you're genuine, I guess those things kind of happen, or not. But for me, it's just keep pushing and keep doing my thing here.
Well, Roger, you've offered some great advice, but as we wrap up here, what words of wisdom would you share with individuals following in your footsteps? People who either want to be artists or want to be agents of change in their community. Any parting thoughts?
It's kind of more of what I said. I would say, hey, don't be afraid to get vulnerable. Don't get afraid to tell your story. Because we all have a story. I tell my son, I say, look, believe it or not, every human wants to write a book about themselves, right? They really do. They want to really tell them their own story and what they're going through and so on and so forth. So whatever you do, don't be afraid to tell your story. Don't be afraid to say how you feel, whether it's good or bad. Just don't be afraid to get it out there. You can get out there in print. You can get out there in these interviews or whatever, but tell your side of the story and, don't be afraid to get vulnerable because it's okay.
Well, that is great advice for any field, Roger. Very congratulations on being chosen by office for outstanding contributions in arts and humanities. If someone listening would like to learn more, Roger has a website at rogerjcarter.art, rogerjcarter.art. We can follow him on Instagram at rogerjcarter. Roger, thank you very much for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Thank you, Michael.